Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to animals being freed for the first time. I've seen some videos like this, and it's really interesting to see the animals like released back into the wild, and they seem so shocked. Like, I guess it was a recent video, like the chimpanzee, she was being tested on, and they finally released her, and she was so so shocked when she walked outside, because she was outside and not in a lab or something, and she can see the sky and nature and all that. So it's really interesting to see animals like just being set free and not being surrounded by humans. But anyway, let me stop talking and let's get into this video, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
For animals, freedom is not just a dream, but an inherent right. So when they get to reunite with their natural state, it can be incredible to watch. A mother and her 6 piglets rescued from a slaughterhouse got to embrace the outdoors for the first time, after years of living in cramped conditions.
And they're just so excited to be free.
Ocelots are medium-sized wild cats, but despite
habitat.
being incredible hunters and territorial, exotic cat owners and zoos made them very sought after in the wildlife trade. This ocelot was able to see the wild for the first time in his life.
Yeah, I guess he's so shocked he doesn't know what to do.
This brave woman set free a female cheetah at a wilderness reserve, where she can finally experience freedom after a life at an illegal zoo.
I feel like sometimes the animals might be mad and like attack when you open the thing, so I'm surprised she wasn't like sitting on top of the cage. You're free. I wonder if they ever try to release an animal and it just comes back to the humans.
Injured, her newborn baby miraculously was unscathed in her pouch. Thankfully, Animal Rescue quickly got to work. And though the mother required chest surgery, her remarkable recovery in just a month paved the way for her and her baby to embrace their well-deserved freedom.
Throughout the whole procedure, all the way through her ordeal with the chest strains and all her chest trauma and surgery, right up until her rehab time. So this is a very...
This chimpanzee gives a final hug to his caretaker
The light
before
is
being
weird today.
released back into the jungle.
See, look, I seem like I can't speak. It seems like they have a connection. So like,
I shall never forget.
do the animals ever come back? Because they want to be out there.
Bobcats are incredible creatures that have been around for over 20,000 years. Sadly, they tend to be targeted by hunters for bragging rights. A wildlife center was able to get to a bobcat's first that were stuck in a trap set by a hunter, and after giving them some needed care, they were released back into their natural habitat.
See, some of them attack, so I'm surprised they're not like standing behind the cage.
Thankfully, no one was hurt, but a leopard found itself in a bad situation when it got lost and ended up in the streets of a densely populated city in India. And well, eventually he took shelter in a storage
I'm surprised he dropped the broom,
Wildlife
because
SOS, which
if
inspected him for any health problems
the leopard
and released him back to the
was
wild.
running towards him, he could use the broom to like swat it away.
A not-so-known fact is that giant Pacific octopuses only live 3 to 5 years, which ends after they complete their reproductive stage of life. An aquarium decided to free this wonderful creature, so it has a chance
Keep checking
to
my camera
reproduce
because the
in the
light
wild.
keeps going in and out.
A tiger who was on a boat on his way to be released couldn't contain his excitement after a life in a cage, and took a leap of faith and never looked back.
Wait, so that's where they're going to drop him off anyway, right?
Are iconic birds that found themselves in danger due to hunting and being so big that they tend to collide with power lines. This one in particular was nurtured back to health and finally let free.
He's like, I am free.
A young woolly opossum happened to get stuck between someone's door and mosquito net after stumbling into a town, and he tried its best to be as intimidating as possible during his release.
So shocked. His jaw dropped.
A heartbreaking footage to watch are dozens of wild sparrows locked in a cage and being sold to people passing by. Luckily, a man with a big heart bought them all just to set them free.
I'm confused, like,
After a tiger lived in captivity
can't just
her
take the
whole
lid
life
off.
with the purpose of tourists to be able to take pictures, she was finally rescued by the Wildlife Friends Foundation and was able to take her first steps free of chains.
And I wonder how long it takes for the animals to adjust to natural life again.
As of 2022, it's estimated that there's more than 550
After,
Siberian tigers in the
being
entire world. An incredibly special moment
held
caught on
captive
camera
for
are these
so
3
long.
motherless cubs that were recaptured from poachers, being finally released to the wild for the first time in their lives.
Because like some of them
Once
could
this
just turn
grizzly
around and start
realized that he was not being
swinging.
relocated to another cage, but let free, he sprinted in happiness.
So I'm surprised they're so close.
When an illegal zoo was finally shut down by authorities, they found many lion cubs being held indoors in cages that have yet to even see sunlight. This is 2 of them leaving a cage for their first time.
Okay, so 2 cubs by themselves. What are they supposed to do?
This is a
In the
group
wild
of
by
rescued
themselves.
former research chimpanzees going outside for the first time. And even though they're a little confused, they seemed happy and even encouraged one of their friends that was hesitant to go outside as well.
Like, come on.
Pangolins are the most illegally
Have you-
trafficked mammals in the world, and they are currently endangered because of it. In southwest China, a huge pangolin was rescued by the police and released into the
Never
wild.
heard of this before. Looks like an armadillo though. Oh dang, they climb trees too?
This poor orangutan had been held illegally at a quarantine center in Jakarta for 6 years, but soon after the center got shut down, rescuers made their way to the place and found him in a tiny cage. And well, when one of the rescuers went to open the cage, he tried to bite him. Luckily, it calmed down, and he was sent to an
No.
orangutan sanctuary
why
where
you
he learned
gotta-
how to live in the wild.
Okay, for the journey to Borneo.
This is why you gotta hide a little bit when you open the cage.
Many polar bears living in
That
subarctic
place does not
Canada
look big
migrate
enough
north
for
every winter towards the sea
the
ice.
orangutan.
The problem is there's a small town called Churchill on the way, causing a safety hazard for the people living there, since polar bears haven't learned to fear humans, so they aren't scared to venture into the town. This polar bear thankfully was safely captured and tranquilized in order to be able to airlift him and taking him to his destination without anyone getting injured.
Warlock must work fast.
Once he starts moving his head and his
A hippo whose whole life was being moved around from zoo to zoo was finally given a break when a rescue group took him in, and after months of training he was finally released to the wild for the first time in his life.
You're like, I'm hot. Okay, and so he just meets random hippos and then they just become friendly like that?
Grizzly bears are incredibly aggressive animals since thousands and thousands of years ago, when they arrived in North America. Unlike black bears that remained in forests, grizzlies adapted to more open areas left treeless by glaciers. This is a release of 2 grizzly bears in Montana that had to be relocated after spending weeks in confinement, and well, they reacted very differently.
So look, he came out swinging. That's why when I see people
Confused
standing
alligator
around,
needed
like,
a
why are you
little
standing so
push
close?
to go back into the wild after years of living in captivity. These geladas, also known as bleeding heart monkey, were caught by people when they were cubs and have
Never
been
heard
kept
of a
captive
gelada.
almost their entire lives.
Heard of
Luckily,
gelato.
they were rescued and released back to the wild. Hundreds of thousands of
Dang, they just
pigeons
leave the
were
cage
released
and they're
back
just,
in
like,
Portugal after being kept in captivity
to-
for weeks.
They already know what to do in the wild. I feel like I would be like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do here.
When a man bought a property and found almost a dozen wild horses roaming around, he was not happy and rounded them up and had them placed on a small stable. Thankfully, the community fought back, arguing they roamed the area for years. And after a year and 9 months
That
of
horse had
captivity,
blue
they were
eyes.
finally released back to the land.
I was trying to think of
The
a horse
Zoological
song to sing at
Society
that
from London
moment,
was able to
but couldn't think of
confiscate
one.
3 adult cheetahs from a wildlife trader and release them back to the wild.
What's that clicking sound?
In Texas, dozens of deers were sent back to their habitat.
Going south,
Can you say deers?
'cause they'll let you play music real damn loud. Don't stop heading south. They won't understand the
Is
word.
For the
deers the
first
word?
time in history, 3 Persian leopards that
Thought it was
spent
just
most of their
deer.
life in captivity were released into the Russian wilderness by researchers in hopes of repopulating the area.
Jump.
Two adorable seals who got stranded in the shore were released back into the wild. Found 2 years prior suffering from poisoning symptoms, this
Another
massive Andean condor gives a
bird.
pre-flight goodbye.
With its wings spread out. I'm free.
In an incredibly heartwarming video, a wild young monkey is welcomed back by his family after being released from an extensive 3-week recovery from a leg injury.
Well, hopefully it doesn't fall again. Okay.
A horse that lived at the stable most of his life was adopted by a woman after seeing a picture of him making an incredible jump in an attempt to be free. And well, the woman that adopted him did notice that he had a girlfriend at some point based on older pictures. And after 2 years of search, she found her and reunited them.
Came trotting over the hill. You hear him call to her when he first sees her. He looked at her and it was almost like he couldn't believe it. They both bend their necks into each other.
After enduring years of unimaginable suffering in a cramped cage on a bear bile farm, this bear was finally free to jump around and move freely.
Checking my camera, make sure it's not blurry. Because it happened today.
Two orphaned bears were found abandoned and taken to a wildlife rehabilitation, in which they were nurtured back to life and taught the skills necessary to survive in the wild. And when they finally got old enough, they were returned to the wild. Just 1 year after being born, former performing dolphin Johnny was captured and spent the rest of his life along a traveling dolphin circus's organization. Once the circus shut down, sadly, instead of letting him be free, a hotel purchased the dolphin and kept him in a chlorinated pool
Hotel?
for visitors to take pictures. The chlorinated water was so bad for Johnny that he lost all of his teeth. But luck finally struck and he got taken to a rehabilitation center, in which not only they gave him new teeth, but taught him to socialize and hunt,
Hotel
and later
with
was released to
dolphins.
the wild once again.
Been a whole new lease on life and the medical green light for release.
In Europe alone, over 350,000 rabbits live and die in laboratories. These 8 made it out alive and got to experience freedom.
Freedom.
After being experimented on for 30 years,
Are they
these
playing
laboratory-raised
rabbits in the wild?
chimpanzees finally were able to see the light. You can even see them smile and adjust their eyes to the sunshine.
I don't know. Those look like pet rabbits. I don't know. Looks like there's hugging and celebration.
After being rescued from captivity,
Guess they probably
these
are.
2 beautiful leopard cats got to start a new life in the
It's
wild.
like
And it's very
humans.
heart-touching seeing their reactions to nature.
I don't know. Some of these animals look like babies, so they release them as babies. Is that
After this
fine?
troop of spider monkeys who got
Are
an
they gonna
awful
survive?
start in life by being born into illegal wildlife trade were rescued, they were finally given a second chance at life. And their reactions of seeing the wild for the first time is incredible to watch.
Dang, they already know what to do.
These happy leopards can finally be free again after being nurtured back to health for over a year.
One cage didn't open, so... Okay.
After many months of rehabilitation for these dolphins who lived their life in captivity in a badly managed zoo, they were finally ready for life in the wild, and they got to experience the ocean for the first time.
I feel like there's too many people, like, you need all those people there.
A pair of pandas bred in captivity were finally released in southwest China after
Just
a
let them
crackdown on illegal zoos.
go back
and well, the pandas
in
never
peace.
looked back.
Without even looking back. The people are clapping, people are cheering. You're cheering him or her on right at the entrance. Well,
Him or her on.
so you can really see people
You
cheering.
say
1,500
them,
hens
cheer
from
them
wire
on.
metal cages were rescued from an egg farm in Southern California, and for their first time ever were able to fly.
My place still looks small
A
for all those
not-so-known
chickens.
fact is that cows feel joy and excitement like humans do. This cow that lived in confinement couldn't contend its excitement after being rescued and finally meeting some new friends.
Why are
Okay,
they
not sure how
repeating
someone
the
could
same
possibly
thing?
do this, but this ridiculously adorable lambs were living in cages until luckily a rescue team got a report from one of the neighbors and came to the rescue. This is footage of them running around a big farm for the first time after being rescued.
And they have clothes now.
When an elephant got stolen
Why
from
did
the
the last
wild and
one
got imported
not
to
have
a zoo
clothes?
that didn't have the space to keep her properly, she was forced to live in a concrete pit for 20 years. Luckily, this year the Elephant Sanctuary Brazil got notice about the situation and went to the rescue, and now she's thrilled to be playing with mud for the first time, while she's socialized and prepared for the wild.
They are. This is wonderful. It's my piece of heaven, but there's more heaven out there.
An absolutely heartbreaking story to learn about is one from a monkey named Joe that spent 25 years in solitary confinement between two buildings in a slum in Thailand. But once the Wildlife Friends Foundation found out about the macaque's condition, they sent a rescue team to see his condition. And despite Joe being dehydrated and having a lot of health problems, they were able to nurture him back to life and is living in sanctuary free from ever being in a cage again.
Exploring.
A 300-pound loggerhead sea turtle was stuck between two rocks and survived there for months. She was in rough conditions when found, so had to be taken to a care center before returning back home. But after 9 months of rehabilitation and care, they managed to bring her back to health and get to be back in the ocean. An incredible video to see is bisons roaming around the Badlands for the first time, since they were wiped out in 1870, and one can see how happy and excited they are leaving the trailer. The Environmental Authority in Brazil seized 372 penguins from an illegal zoo, and seeing them walk to the ocean finally free is incredible to see.
Oh, because it seemed like it was blocked off, but then they opened it.
Sadly, in many parts of the world, poultry farms are very inhumane, and hens live in extreme confinement, and some never get to go outside. Animal Place Group decided to rescue 3,000 hens that were going to be gassed by an egg farm, and they were able to see snow for the first time.
They're not cold. They're like, I ain't walking that far. Okay, so that is the end of the video. It's nice to see animals being released in the wild, but I'll just be scared because they might attack when they come out. But yeah, I'm glad some of them were helped and then released into the wild. And it's weird that some people want to keep wild animals in like small spaces, especially like the dolphins at the hotel. Like, what kind of hotel is that? But anyway, that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, SEKSHI. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.